With a recent move, it seems that General Motors is trying to get themselves in more trouble. In the racing community, this is a move that we would call stepping on your own pecker, i.e. creating a problem for yourself that never would have existed if you weren't doing something dumb. So what are they up to? Well, it looks like GM is very much wading deeper into the data harvesting business model. They're already being scrutinized for listening into passenger conversations, and this next move points to doing even more of that. Apparently, they're getting ready to fight the good fight as it pertains to not allowing Apple CarPlay or Android Auto into any of GM's vehicles. You might say, well, Clyde, why don't they want to put CarPlay in their vehicles? After all, statistically, 80% of people say that they wouldn't buy a vehicle without CarPlay in 2024. I mean, it's one of the most basic options nowadays, and it even appears in some of the most low-level cars. So what's the holdup? Well, apparently they're committed to building their very own interface to compete with CarPlay. The Verge actually put together an article on this whole thing, and they really went into a deep explanation of where GM says that they need to control more of the user experience inside of the car in order to build up some of the features and services that are quote-unquote on the roadmap. They also claim that handing over that power to either Google or Apple would just not allow them to innovate fast enough. But let me put this in very simple terms here that gets rid of that corporate jargon. The Verge had to go in depth to try and dissect everything, but I think that the answer here is actually very clear. All these car companies want your data because they are desperate to create a recurring model after the car leaves the lot, because once they sell the vehicle, typically outside of service, they don't really get any more money from it. And essentially, it seems as if by building their own interface, this will really allow them to spy on their customers. All this comes in the name of maybe making a couple more bucks in the long run, all while sacrificing your privacy, the customer. I don't think that a company like GM is quite as equipped to create smooth and efficient interfaces as a company that literally spends all of its time, money, and resources creating phones. Call me an amateur here, but I would probably rely on the $3 trillion phone company to make phone software and not the $60 billion car company. In any case, I'm a GM guy, so I really hope that I'm wrong here, but it really just feels like I'm not.